Hello friends, Reckless Tempest here. Today we're going to go over the patch notes for Runeterra. They just came out. A number of dominant decks are being hit, including a few Poppy-centric decks such as Sejuani Gangplank and Scion Draven. Generally aiming to improve meta and region diversity, we're specifically targeting Freljord with a number of card usability buffs. Let's take a look at exactly what's changing. So Scion has taken a 2 power reduction across the board. So Sound returned, 8 power instead of 10, level 2 Scion, 8 power instead of 10, and level 1 Scion. I don't know level 1 Scion's normal stats. This isn't normally relevant. I actually kind of don't like this nerf too much. I just don't think it was really needed. Because if we look at like the latest meta reports, Scion's not here. Like it's just I'm not saying the deck like was necessarily bad, but like at least in ranked, it wasn't really present. If anything, we were starting to see people play Draven Rumble more. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really like it. Admittedly, maybe the card is still like a little jacked, but it's not like if they nerfed everything in the game, and buffed everything, sure, I'm down for it. But like this patch is pretty big, but it's not that big, so I'm kind of meh on it. All right, next up we have Ash. Now she just needs 4 enemies to level up. You have the Frostbite. Pretty good. I don't know if this will actually bring back like fuck, what was the name of like just the Frostbite deck, right? Like Ash with Sejuani, Reckoning, that kind of stuff. Maybe we'll have to see if there's more buffs, but I don't think they made enough that really this pushes it over. Drone goes back to being a 4-6, which is kind of. I remember I was there when this was a 4-6 on release, and it was unkillable. It was a little much. I don't know. Admittedly, they did say they're trying to buff Trundle. I mean, Freljord. So the King of Trolls, he's back. Ugh, I hate this. I hate this so much. And maybe I go into a 3-5. The only reason I don't like this, obviously, Anivia has a low play rate. It's just, I don't understand why people want Anivia to be good. Shut the fuck up, phone. Shut up. I don't know why people want Anivia to be good. It's actually like really like when this is a real deck and they're just like resurrecting all their Anivias and have multiple Anivias in play from the Rekindler or Harrowing. It's awful. It's awful. Like, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't like this. But yeah, obviously, this goes a long way towards making like the actual card playable outside of like the Shadow Isle resurrection support. Except we have Kindred down to a 4 cost and is a 4-3 instead of a 4-4. This is actually really interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not much of a Kindred expert. I did play against it last night actually in Gauntlet, and Kindred can do things. It like it's capable of doing stuff. I think the cost reduction is actually really massive. This card just 5 mana was too much for a 4-4. You know, now at 4, like that's gonna be a huge boost. Like remember when Lee Sin cost 4? So this just means it can come into play sooner. You have more mana to work with to start trying to do Kindred garbage. So yeah, pretty big buff. We might see play. I don't know if this will like push it into like ranked, but Maokai now instead of on playing another ally, it triggers on summoning another ally. I don't want to get too like tinfoil hatty, but I feel this was like partially due to the spell that gives you the 1/1 sapling for 1 next turn, like, and it's not working with that. It's a small buff. It's fine. I'd rather I would prefer never to play against this card. I like having my deck. But whatever. Darius. So this was funny. Darius has +1 health, and the picture it says from a 10-5 to a 10-6, but the picture is a 10-7. And I'm pretty sure Darius gets +1 health on level up. I'm pretty sure. It's been a while. Um, I don't know. I'm actually a big Darius stan. I think this is a little too I want to say this is too far, but it's probably fine. But I don't know. I just think these like really ultra high powered overwhelmed units should be able to be killed in combat. Like by either stacking up damage or whatnot. And I think when you just start piling on extra health, it starts getting a little stupid. Kind of similar to like the Gangplank nerf. Like I'll take the reduction in health over just like nothing, right? So, but again, Darius doesn't see a lot of play. I'm sure I'll slightly benefit from this. I'm very excited for this Diana buff. Before it was just like Nightfall. If you did Nightfall, give a challenger. Now it's Nightfall, or when you activate another Nightfall, give a challenger. I think this is massive, personally. This way your Diana kind of represents this constant source of a challenging, quick attacking threat. So that's gonna put a massive bullseye on her. Yeah, I don't know. This might actually bit little bold, but I think this might actually kind of like pump a lot of new life into the Nightfall archetype. By giving her this power boost. Really excited, as you can tell by my, overflowing with excitement voice. Zareth got an extra health, 3/3 to a 3/4. Oh, they updated this. I've never seen this, so. Ability now triggers on destroying a landmark and targets enemy units before targeting the Nexus. Okay, alright. So was it before? When allied unit is destroyed or around side, deal 5 to the weakest enemy or enemy Nexus if there are none. Okay. I assume it just shot randomly. Um, yeah, I hate this. I don't know. I find Xerath very annoying to play against. It's just like, it's kind of like Anivia. Like, I don't like machine gun champions that just kill every unit in the game. Like, Runeterra, in my opinion, is a unit game. And it's just like, uh, this is a shitty champion. And if it gets to do its thing, you don't get to play the game. This is so fun. Yay. Whereas, like, I prefer the train versus train simulator that a lot of games are. Sometimes the trains smash into each other, sometimes they're ships passing each other by in the night, but this is just like, I'm gonna blow up your rails, and then your train goes nowhere, hee hee. Obviously, it should help. Like, I actually think South started seeing, I don't think it's on here, but I have seen stuff like this pop up more. I big fan of this nerf. So yeah, Bandle City reduced your multi-region units by one. Now it's just the first multi-region is reduced by one. I do think cost reduction is all like kind of inherently dangerous in card games, but the fact that it's just capped is it's way tamer. It's way tamer. Like back when people used to be able to play multiple free units or like multiple cheap units or multiple units per turn with Vandal City Mare. It was kind of stupid. This is great. We admittedly haven't seen a lot of this. This does feel a dab late, but again, this is partially because patches take 2 weeks to shoot because they have to do localization and all those other checks because it's a mobile app too, right? So they have to submit it to Google ahead of time, I think, was part of the reason. Kind of sad about this. I think it needed to be done though. Curious Shell Folk is now down to 4 health. At a 4/6, this thing was very hard to kill, which is partially why I'm not super digging the Darius buff. Even though, again, I will probably play it. Uh, if it is good. Just because, like, things like Monster Harpoon, which will be brought up later, doesn't do anything. 4 toughness is a lot easier to deal with. Yeah, I don't know. It's sad. I played this a little. But, hey, what can you do? It had to be done. One of my favorite cards, Lecturing Yordle, has been nerfed. So instead of on summon and attack, you get the Poison Dart. Now it's just on attack. Pretty big nerf. I still think the card's going to see play, though, because at least personally, the reason I really like this card was it stayed alive. Like, five toughness on a 4-drop is fucking big. So, yeah. So at least, like, we still have a durable unit. If they reduced it to 4 health, it'd be really bad. This was like getting the dart on summon was a little out of control. And honestly, I don't think It is a big nerf, but I still think the card's going to be playable, because still, like, attacking it and making darts and pinging stuff down, I think it's going to be very useful. Monster Harpoon now only costs 2 less if you've plundered instead of 3. So, small upside, you can't notify it. Big downside, it costs more. So, yeah, it's not a buff. I've seen some donkeys tweet that. No, it's not a buff. Nerf. It's probably deserved. Like 3 mana for 5 is a little too efficient in Runeterra, I'd say. It that stairs. So yeah, it does 3 damage to all other units or obliterates landmarks. Kind of, yeah, we're getting Freljord control. They're trying to make it a thing. Can't wait for my stuff to get buried and iced. You know, all my stuff to turn into landmarks, and then they play it that stairs slightly more often. Though slightly less whiny talk, this is probably a fine buff. 2 damage on turn 8 is like kind of a little low, so I'm okay with this. Voice of the Old Ones, instead of looking at the top 4 and putting the 8 pluses in your hand, now you look at the top 5. Um, big buff, actually, in my opinion. Just because in my day, I have seen quite a few whiffs on 4, and having that extra look, right? It's a big statistical increase. So, big into this. Also, like, admittedly, this isn't a control buff. This is more of a ramp buff, which I'm down. I'm down for. I don't mind ramp. I think ramp's kind of interesting. Again, because they fucking do something and they let you play your game and then go over the top of you instead of trying to blow up your rail. Like, you're using a train and they're just using a fucking city. It's kind of there, just the whole city, like a cargo ship. It's kind of it's on one track for some reason. Iceborne Legacy has been buffed to burst, so grant an ally all ally copies of it ever rare +2/+2. I think this will be really cool in spiders. I'm actually kind of excited to try it out. I was thinking about playing spiders later today to get into Diamond. And yeah, I don't know. This just looks very memey. I'm sure it probably works in Poros. I'm not a Poro master. I don't know what you're targeting with this. But yeah, really cool. Also, it's probably a little aggressive to give it burst. But I think they're very into the idea of trying to make stuff too good sometimes and then dialing it back. Also, there's a very interesting design anecdote about Dragon's Clutches giving Overwhelm. And in test, like when they first pitched it out there, it was like, oh, this is broken. You're giving Dragon's Overwhelm. That's blah, blah, blah. And then they played it and it's like, oh, it's fine. Like, it'll win some games, but a lot of the time it was just winning games that were already won. And I feel like Iceborne Legacy is maybe kind of in the Dragon Clutches camp where it looks way better than it is, but it's still good. Ram Tusk Shaman, extra health. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I have nothing to say about this. The card's kind of slow. Giving it some increased survivability is cool. I'm gonna be bold and say I don't think this brings it into ranked, into like the meta, like ranked meta. Like I don't think we're gonna see it here. Poro Herder, I love this buff. It's so good. So before it was when someone draw Poro if you already have an ally. Now it's if you behold a Poro, draw Poro. Behold, that's admittedly this card's never going to be turned off now. Like very, very, very like they're yeah. I, I don't know, man. Card game players piss me off sometimes. They're so fucking obsessed with edge cases. It's like, hey, but what if like everything is dead and it's turn 13? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then you've probably lost. um yeah, I don't know. It's cool. It'll let you curve out more too. Even if they like Death Ray Mark 1, your first one drop par, you can still just run this out there as a nice 2 drop. Um Chump bumps up to a 4/4. I don't I don't know. I like this card. I've played this card. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this buff. It's kind of eh. Like it's a buff. I don't know what this is supposed to do. It's just like a generic buff. It's just like, oh, it's more survivable now, but like maybe it just fell behind in the game relative to everything else that's been coming out. Like it's kind of got soft power crept on, and they just want to like bring it back into alignment. But like, I don't know. I guess there's a reason I haven't played this in like 6 months. I just don't kind of like this thing where everything's getting more survivable. I maybe I'm maybe it's because I'm a degenerate. I'd rather see a power increase. I'd rather see more power increases than health increases. Um, but that might be incorrect. Rex. Now it's a 4/4. Oh, I actually missed that on the first 3 instead of a 3/3. And it can trigger 6 times, so it does the cannon barrage where it does 2 to, what is it? It's 1 to a unit? Yeah. Or it's 2 to a unit and then 1 to the Nexus, I believe. This is, I don't know. I really don't think this is going to be playable, partially because, and by playable I mean, like, in terms of ranked, but I think the big issue is TF got hit so hard due to the TF Fizz, like, and how, like, that deck, like, I think it was about a year ago, and how good it was, and how many, like, nerfs they had to do to fast draw, or fast steal, like, TF's champion spell, stress test, and all that. They kind of really, they looked at that card draw, like, aggro card draw archetype, and they're like, calm down, sit down. And the issue with that is, if, like, a lot of the fuel that gives you, like, a ton of, like, efficient card draw has been nerfed, that's what you need to make Rune Rex good. So, yeah, unless you buff that, Rune Rex is gonna be meh. And like a 4/4 for 5 isn't, it's not an efficient stat block. You know, like we have Chump Wump. I don't think triggering like who cannon barrages or whatever is gonna really be worth it either. So I don't know. I'm willing to be wrong, but honestly, I think like I don't think Challenger goes in Freljord, but like if they gave it a keyword that actually does something more, or even something like Overwhelm, so at the very least, like after it's done a cannon barrage, you get to convert that into something more, right? So what I'm thinking is if you do cannon barrages, you hit a few things, then you attack with say a 5/3 Rune Rex, and theoretically if it had Overwhelm, you at least convert those cannon barrages into an advantage because a lot of their units took damage and now they're worse blockers, so you get to push through damage. And pushing through damage is a Bilgewater thing. It's admittedly more like spray and pray. You know, maybe that kind of veers more into like Freljord kind of feeling big chunky overwhelmer territory. And it's not really supposed to be a Bilgewater thing. I don't know. Just some thoughts. I'm probably gonna get baited and try this out anyways, because Slotbot is one of my favorite cards. I kind of wish that archetype was good, so I could play Slotbot, but buff Slotbot, buff Slotbot. That's what I really want. I want a Slotbot buff. I was actually pondering this, if Coral Creatures should have Manifest instead of giving you a random card from your region that costs 1, if it manifested you the 1 cost card. Instead they went with 3 health. It's probably fine just because, like, not every region can have Manifest if they make random cards, because then that takes away the identity from the regions that have it, which, if I recall correctly, it's Targon and Bandle City. Those are the Manifestors, and everyone else can get wrecked. Anyways, I've played this. I like this buff. It's good. I'm down. Ascended's Rise is down to 6 mana. Sure, sure. Uh, I don't know. I haven't seen this card in many a moon. Like, if they want this to be good, yeah, these are the kind of buffs they're gonna have to do. I think they'll have to go further. Like, I think if they want Sundisk stuff to be good, they gotta go hammer. Karina got +2/+2. Now this is, I think it's funny, like, this is a really big, like, nod to, like, yeah, power creep's real. It's pretty mad. I don't think this is gonna change her playability at all. Like, I think the last time I've seen Karina, 9-drop Karina outside of Lava Legends griefing the fuck out of me was, like, in Go Hard decks, but that's It's been so long. Um, it, if they really wanted to do something, maybe they could actually tweak the top card trigger and like make it 6. Might be a dab mad, but you know, something to ponder. Alright, so it's a 3-3 instead of a 3-2, and now it can create cards outside your region. Your regions, yeah. Which, I think this is a nerf. Personally, just based off some of my experience of... I'm trying to forget the card. It was Conchologist, right? Conchologist in Noxus is actually really powerful, because, like, you have a nice spread of very good hits. And I think the wider the spread of potential hits, overall it's a nerf, because you actually can't, like, during deck construction be like, oh, Conchologist Nox is good because we're gonna get a good spread of hits. Instead it's just, who knows, it could be whatever. It could be some garbage weird failured ramp card that doesn't do anything, and it's like, alright, great. Alright, Buried Sundisk. Game starts, summon one of me if all your cards are Shuriman. Now this goes back up to the Ascended Rise nerf. So essentially, the Sundisk archetype has +1 mana now relative to before, right? So because they don't have to play their Sundisk, it's in play. This is fine. I think they're gonna have to do some more with this card, honestly. Or they're gonna have to give Shurima another Allegiance card. I don't know. I don't think this is gonna be enough. Happy to be proven wrong, though. Vengeance has been nerfed to 6. They're really trying to bring control back. I think this is the fine nerf, though. Just because, like, 7 mana is a lot. Like, Vengeance has been inefficient forever in terms of mana cost and what you're doing with it. So, yeah, this is fine. Like, I haven't seen a Vengeance in a while either, so totally fine with this. Golden Crush Bot. I remember playing this in an aggro deck when I was starting out, because I was very cheap and wouldn't buy cards or build anything. I wanted to do a stream where I only played with what I cracked. Now it has the mech subtype for mechy goodness, and some of the mech synergies I'm not fully aware of because I'm not a mecher. But yeah, minor buff. Maybe it'll make it playable in those decks. Hidden Pathways got a huge fucking just 5 to 6. I hate where they put this, because it's the last, right? And everything here, it's been buffs, right? Like nice feel good buffs. And this is where the nerfs end. And then all the way at the end, it's like, oh, Hidden Pathways. I love Hidden Pathways. It's like, yeah, it's 6. Get wrecked. We're gonna end this feel good sandwich on a nerf. I'm fine with it though. I don't like Vandal City, so I'm fine with it getting wrecked. And here we just have like a lot of board stuff. Yeah, the board stuff's cool. I'm not gonna buy it though. It's pretty expensive. And they've done some bug fixes, which I'm not gonna go over. So, those are the patch notes. Do you disagree with some of my takes? Do you agree? What do you think? Do you think anything from here is actually gonna be like broadened, like in a month from now, are we gonna see the stuff in ranked, right? Like do you think Nightfall is gonna be somewhere in the metagame? Let me know in the comments. See you next time.